also 5 that says that social capitalism for their cosmopolitanism advantage. Whenever the U.S. had, whether it be soft, hard, or smart, as AF was trying to solve this unsustained imperial domination of the global curse. First of all, the nuclear war impacted from this link when uncontested the entire round, therefore you must weigh all of the impacts around. Using military force by the forms of the merchant marines gives other countries the incentive to try to power up. The nation with the greatest conventional military force is the nation with the greatest nuclear force and the readiness to use it. They have reason to be suspicious, and it ruins other countries' relations. Perceptions of this. It appears that the U.S. is trying to use military power for an imperial domination to use large merchant marine ships to head to smaller nations and overpower them when they are vulnerable and weak. The military power can lead to transition wars and ruin relations. This can lead to nuclear war, which leads to nuclear extinction. With our brown 5 card. The U.S. is trying to solve the nuclear extinction because they are causing it by trying to solve their hedge. Secondly, they consider the ecological collapse impact, and therefore you must weigh this 100% in the flow. They only made analytics about the nuclear impact, but this impact has as much weight to it, if not more, because they link to hedge. But by building up the merchant marines, we are leading to the contribution of the carbon monoxide emissions and the AF is increasing by the system to rely on the national forces that they are dwindling. They're using large military initiatives that drastically increase carbon monoxide emissions that lead to global warming, and the impact of environmental collapse is extinction that's across our 11 countries. Capitalism guarantees runaway climate change, and they never answer the environmental claim in the money out, so you weigh 100% the impact. Extend a card that says federal infrastructure projects are situated within the history as a tool to integrate both the nation and the world with a global capitalist order of the U.S. They create an imperial ideology that justifies the ruthless suspension of the capital into foreign markets and causes short-termism, which causes environmental collapse. Neither of the perms solve because they still link to capitalism, which solves specifically for hedge. Extend a Marzo A card that says only by situating ourselves as intellectuals outside the state's politics consultancy start. Reformism is the link, which means that the perms get co-opted too. And multiple perms are bad in voting issue for competitive equality. They make AF conditional since they go all the way, not all or now perms. Avoiding conditionalities, nuclear bursts, since the stable advocacy of the critical to net composition positions are testing whether or not the planet is a good idea. And the negation theory means that they can shift by, and the AF must do the same thing the whole round. No straight turn to check. We can't stick them in the permutation through the straight turn, and that means they can only go for fun and waste our speech time because they have nothing else to use. And not reciprocal or predictable. They get 3 worlds to choose from, and we don't know which one they'll choose. As bad as 3 condos, so you can go for anyone. And it's the time it takes to read this is the time it takes for us to respond to a drastically disproportionate. It literally takes 3 seconds to read a perm, and only 20 to 30 seconds for it to respond. So it's not fair to us. And they only read an analytic that perms solve best, but both of the perms which do both, and to the perm of not competitive perms. Can you go away? You're distracting me. That's the Dixon 1 and Wilson 2K cards, which don't solve. They don't accept these in the 1 AR, which means the perms can't solve. They both link to hegemony, which causes nuclear war and environmental collapse, both resulting in extinction. This is the only scenario for extinction in this round, which means that you should sign the ballot for the nag. And even if they do win the alt, it doesn't solve. Even if they win the alt, it doesn't solve. You vote negative. Capitalism frames this as making radically breaking away from the ways the status quo produces knowledge is key to solving opposition. Diego 3. We only acknowledge the existence of alternatives, and we can ground the political discourse in thinking of the practice of alternatives as actualization form of invisibility causes alternatives in social products, and we need to be recognized and validated in society. This new political discourse is caused by the product of the space of the comments. And next, their epistemology turns their fairness and education claims. Questioning hegemonic frameworks is key to public deliberation. Fisher 98. Armed with the empirical research and the statistical methods, many have little or no training, neither understanding the normative, imperative foundations are the tools that they learn to rely on. The disciplinary neglect of these issues can breed more than criticism, and these can simply turn off. Others can go through academic ritual and both turn away. These methods are jumping from the requisites as hurdles. Given the absence of credible alternatives, it is better to hang on to the traditional, albeit problematic methods. There's no longer to be a case. It opens up the way to be productive approach to social and policy inquiry. They're only solving this argument that there's no evolution possible without action, and this was their climate net code, but they did not extend their solvency claim, so you must weigh the alt against the advantages. The moment the plan is enacted, it leads to immediate increase of capitalism domination. All the plan does is head to other countries, gaining just before they can work their way into every side of their government. By gaining soft, hard, and smart power, they can devastate any country in its path. The United States will go power crazy, and we must reject capitalism before it is too late. So they didn't extend any of our link cards, which means that they link 100% to their own advantage, which is hegemony, by trying to solve for hard, soft, and smart power. So you should. So you need to reject capitalism before it's too late.